Welcome to another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. I'm short. Well, actually, I'm down like this today because we had more tornadoes rip through here yesterday. Not on our side of town, thank goodness, but in Cleveland area. And I think it contributed to this. Can you see that? Neighbor's tree limb falling down on the garage over here. There we go. Over here. That just happened. Woo! I feel very lucky that that was not me. But at the same time, I am sad for my neighbors. I'm glad they're safe. They're safe. And their dogs are too. And we're going to talk about this a little bit in our Bhagavad Gita Sadhana today, following up on this question about children. That it started off if Arjuna had children and then talked about various aspects of parenting. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, something about, the difference between men and women and parenting, although I didn't have a chance to reread because that happened. That scared the cat so much, he hid, and he doesn't even want his treats this morning. So hopefully that doesn't mean more is on the way. Anyway, I mentioned, okay, I'm happy my parents are safe, or my parents. I am happy my parents are safe. I'm happy my neighbors are safe. We're going to talk a little bit about Arjuna, who is the hero of the Bhagavad Gita, a warrior prince whose occupation for decades has been to go out and fight and protect the kingdom, or go out and gather weapons and protect the kingdom, or basically go wandering around and helping to protect the kingdom, his brothers, his family. And he did have children while he did this. And what's interesting to me about because I looked into it a little bit more for this bit, Arjuna really left the children behind a lot. So he has his primary wife, you could say, Draupadi, his first wife. And, the children he had with her are kind of mentioned in passing almost. Not too much detail. They are mentioned in chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. But during the time that he and his wife were together, he also left for years at a time. He would leave the kingdom. When he and his brothers were exiled out of the kingdom, he would leave them to go searching for more weapons for their cause, make allies. And so it seems like she was basically left to take care of the children, and Arjuna got to manifest his destiny by doing his thing. And then on his wanderings, he got married to another woman and had a child with her, and left that child with her, and then went back to his life. And he had another child that's talked about specifically in the Gita, named Abhimanyu, and he had that child with actually a relative of Krishna's. So his child got to go live in Krishna's city growing up, and we can talk more about that later. But the idea is Arjuna, who is portrayed as really an epitome of manliness and manhood, left his kids and did whatever, it seemed like whatever he wanted. He was fulfilling his destiny. It is really easy to read into that if you're reading this from one perspective, that, well, the Mahabharata and the Gita teach that men should get to go out and run around and fulfill their destiny, and the women are supposed to stay home with the kids. But what we've been doing this whole year is reading all the characters in the Gita as symbolic of aspects of ourselves. So Arjuna represents Manipur Chakra, the chakra of, among other things, working towards your destiny. In each chakra, there is a masculine deva and a feminine devi, divine beings, and they work together. We can look at this, this balance of male and female within us, the balance of male and female, apparently unequal in the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita. These aspects are parts of ourselves. So when we read about this, it's not, from this point of view, not meant to be read as men get to go out and do their careers, their occupations, and women's job is to stay at home with the kids. No. It means that within each of us, we have a part that wants to parent, and that is part of our destiny to parent. It was part of Arjun's destiny to have these children in the first place, and he does support them in his way. That's part of us. That part also needs to go out and do its life. And then there's another part of us that really wants to and needs to stay home with the children, with the projects, with the pets, and raise them. It's this balance, and I'm talking about balance today because today for us is actually the equinox, equal day, equal night, more or less. And in our culture, the embodiment we get often lets us not be in balance. It encourages us to be out of balance. So if we're embodied with a masculine body, however we perceive that, then the world treats us differently. Right from birth, there's research that shows that right from birth, as soon as a baby is identified as male, people touch and hold that baby differently and respond to its emotional needs differently. So that can be a disadvantage. Men are taught not to respond to that necessarily emotional, nurturing side, and they need to. And women, well, from firsthand experience, I can tell you, having been, when I shave my head, it's easy to not be clear on what my biological or assigned at birth gender is. I've had people treat me both as a man and a woman, sometimes within the same few minutes when they figure out what I actually am. And the pendulum swing is amazing, from taking me seriously and wanting to be involved to being like, get out of here. I mean, literally, get out of here. We want nothing to do with you. Even though our culture encourages that, it is causing suffering rather than perhaps, oh, this is my role. This is what I need to do in the external world. Because I was just synchronicity as I was getting ready on YouTube before this. I noticed an awful lot of videos popping up, the difference between men and women, like how men treat their daughters versus their sons, for example, how even pets treat their male owners versus their female owners. And there's a kind of sadness to those videos that I perceived anyway. Maybe it's my sadness, but maybe it's our sadness where we feel that our embodiment forces us toward one end of the spectrum and we have to deny the other end. This is actually a huge part of Jungian psychology, and Jung studied Eastern philosophy. And what he said is, in order for us to lead a happy life, we have to integrate these aspects. So, regardless of your embodiment as a parent, you need that nurturing connection with your family, and you also need to go out and do what you need to do. Every single person. Every person has these qualities, some to a greater and some to a lesser extent. But we have to find the balance within ourselves and then within our relationship, because otherwise we suffer, the relationship suffers, the world suffers, the children suffer. When you suffer, your children suffer. And I can speak to that from firsthand experience, having parents who suffered in many different ways. Love yourself, all of yourself. That's part of the huge challenge of the Gita. That's what Krishna, Arjun's best friend, is trying to get him to do. If you need help healing relationships, if you look below, there's a link. We're having a free healing meditation Saturday. It's not just for physical healing, but emotional healing and reconciliation as well. And you're invited to join. If it's past the date of that workshop, that chanting, then other things hopefully will appear that give you some options. All right. It's a free meditation. Okay. I'm dedicating today's practice to all who have noticed sexism and are trying to reconcile their inner needs, their opposing inner needs. And also, congratulations to the Cleveland Guardians, yay, to their manager, Stephen Vogt. And one of the reasons I'm dedicating this to him today is there's a video that's gone around the sporting world that's somewhat viral. This very manly man who does a manly job with other manly men, breaking down and crying during an interview about how much he loved these guys. And it seems to have worked, because this team that was supposed to do absolutely nothing is now championship in their division. maybe a good example for all of us. Balance poses are meant to help us bring the two opposing sides of us, right representing masculine, left representing feminine, into balance with each other. Let's see if that works today. And we'll have that lovely fallen tree in the back. Switch sides. All right. Contemplation time. Okay, for the next 5 minutes, I invite you to contemplate how what you see as these opposing labels, masculine and feminine, have affected your life. Just notice. Welcome back. Welcome back. Today, may you honor that part of you that needs to go out into the world and fulfill your destiny there, and the part of you that needs to stay home and connect with your offspring of all sorts and the destiny that fulfills there. Notice what this balance might do for you. Can't wait to see you again. Hopefully, we'll still be standing. Until next time.